Welcome ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to check out the Magicka Sorcs PVE build. It is currently one of the strongest Magicka specs. I'm Alcast from alcasthq.com. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And if you want a written guide, check out my website. I will put the link to this build into the description. Like always, in the first part I'm going to talk about the general overview of the build. In the second part we will check out the rotation, and in the last part I will showcase the outfit. Here you can see our buffs with just the potion active. I do have fully buffed versus unbuffed screenshots on the website. Because we have that high spell crit, we're running the Shadow Mundus Stone. In general, most Magicka builds run this because it's just the strongest Mundus Stone at the moment. Buff food wise, and the reason why we do have so much max health and max Magicka is because we are running double Bloody Mara, which got buffed, so it does now give more stats than blue food because it scales correctly. So you always want to run this. Just be aware of when you're a vampire, it will drop your stage. Keep that in mind. But we don't really need to be a vampire on this build because we have a Breton, which gives us 7% cost reduction. We have extra Magicka recovery and the max Magicka. An Altmer or a Dark Elf or a Kashyyyk will also work for this, but you might have to change something a little bit. Breton in combination with False God, which gives another 8%, gives you like 15% cost reduction, so it's fairly easy to sustain. Plus, every time a monster dies, you get 2k Magicka. It's just really freaking amazing, this set, trust me. When we look at the setup, perfect False Gods. You can also run the imperfect version. It's still better than most other sets. And as you can see, the perfect version has way more stats. It has 3 5-piece bonus. It's crazy. No other set really has that. So you really want to get this if possible. In Sunspire, it will actually drop fairly easy. You don't need to do hard mode to get perfected gear, so it should be acquirable. And the non-hard modes are not that difficult, okay? So I would recommend giving it a go. All you need is 5 pieces here. Then we have a medium and a heavy piece with San. Still the strongest single target set. We have 5 light, all divines, 1 medium, 1 heavy. Okay, so we still run the 5-1 setup because of Undaunted, so we get more max resources. Front bar, Mother Sorrow, that's how we get the crit. 3 Bloodthirsty with spell damage, like always. This is just really nice, and our rotation is very front bar focused, so we barely lose the crit. Just when we swap to the back bar, but doesn't take long. Now, because we are a Breton, we run a Flame Enchant with a precise trait on the front bar, and we run in weapon damage enchantment on the back bar. If you're an Altmer, a Dark Elf or a Kashyyyk, you might want to run Absorb Magic Enchant to make your sustain easier, so that's kind of the trade-off you have to make. In good groups, obviously, you can use this setup with an Altmer too, but most of the times it might be hard to sustain. And once again, sets like Siroria still work, but Perfect False Gods or False Gods in general is, in my opinion, just a way superior set. That's it for the gear. Champion points. I do have 300, 600 and 810 setups on the website, plus we also do have a champion points calculator in case you're not max level yet. Links in the description. Now the only thing to note here, obviously the red champion points kind of differentiate depending on what trial you are. There's also an article in the trial section on the website. Spell erosion. Depending how good your group is, you might need more in here, right? You might want to have 20 or 30, but you really need to talk with your group leader about that. If you're unsure, I would just put 10 to 20 points, or like just 10 points like I have here, and you will be good to go. Everything else you can leave it like this. Perfection. Looking at the abilities, we do have Daedric Prey, Crystal Frag, Elemental Weapon, Bound Aegis, Twilight Tormentor, Shooting Star, Blockade of Fire, Lightning Flood, Empowered Ward or Hardened Ward, Channel Acceleration, Twilight again, and the Storm Atronach. I will go into the skills in a second when we talk about the rotation. So far, Lightning Flood we usually use Liquid Lightning, but they actually increase the time now, so it matches perfectly with Blockade. This is 8 seconds, this is 8 seconds. So we really only need to stay on the back bar for 2 abilities and that's it. That's why I say this gear setup is so powerful. Before we continue, make sure to not forget to subscribe and hit the juicy like button. Very much appreciated. More videos will come, don't worry. Looking at the skills. So it's a pretty normal Magicka Sorc setup. We are using a pet again. It deals so much damage in combination with Daedric Prey. It's really freaking strong. Elemental Weapon is still here. If you don't have Elemental Weapon from the Suchik skill line, you can still use Force Pulse. Here, this one. And on the back bar we run Channeled Acceleration. If you don't have Suchik, you can use Rearming Trap to get the minor force buff, but you really want to get this. Other than that, it's pretty standard because we use Elemental Weapon on the front bar, and when Crystal Fragment procs, we only use it on the instant proc. Never cast this, right? Just use it when it actually procs. First off, it will deal more damage and it will cost way less. Really nice. Back bar is the same thing. We use Blockade of Fire, Lightning Flood, and we swap back to the front bar. There is not more to do, except if you need the shield to protect yourself, then you want to use this. Again, you can also run the Hardened Ward if you want a little bit a bigger shield. I like this because it gives minor intellect, but again, it really doesn't matter. Channel Acceleration, this holds 36 seconds. So I actually really like it because it gives that long of a minor force up time, which is very important because we have a high crit setup, right? And I have my potion active in combination with the Shadow Mundus and a lot of points in Elfborn. So we really want to jam out this extra crit damage. So you always need to make sure to keep this up all the time. Atronach, again, deals a lot of damage. On top of that, when an ally synergizes the Atronach, they both gain Major Berserk, increasing their damage by 25% for 8 seconds. That's so much, that's why it's worth using it. On Trash Packs, you could actually use the Elemental Rage ability if you still want. But Shooting Star usually also does it if you're if you don't want to swap mid-trial or mid-dungeon. But yeah. The Atronach, definitely use it for single target. It's so strong and it really doesn't cost a lot. It's only 170 ulti. There is a static and a dynamic rotation on the website. It might be easier to understand when you read it. I will showcase the static today. The only thing that doesn't really fit into the static rotation are these two. Because Empowered Ward is only used when you actually get a lot of damage or you have like low health, so you can bolster your health with that. Channel Acceleration is 36 seconds long, so it's fairly easy to keep up. And if you have a buff tracker, it shouldn't be an issue. Otherwise, on console, you see the visual cues, or just use it every 4th rotation because it's 36 seconds long, and our rotation is about 8 seconds because of these two abilities here, Blockade and Lightning Flood. We apply these two together and then weapon swap to the front bar. On the front bar you have the pet, 15 seconds, so we activate this every 2nd rotation and only till 50% boss health, because this pet does, so it says causing it to deal 53% more damage to enemies above 50% health for 15 seconds. So after 50% boss health, you don't use this anymore. The pet will still attack, you just don't activate its special ability anymore. Daedric Prey, in the static one we use it once. In the dynamic, you want to reapply it the moment it explodes. And then the last part, you have Elemental Weapon and you use Crystal Fragments. You only use Crystal Fragments when it procs. So it has a 35% chance of causing your next Crystal Frag to be instant, deal 20% more damage and cost 50% less. So usually 5 Elemental Weapon, but if you have this twice, if you have 2 procs, you only use 3 Elemental Weapon, right? To showcase you this, Blockade, the Flood, Pet, Curse, and then you weave Crystal Frag with Elemental. Till your Blockade runs out and you go to the back bar, same thing. Do the same thing. Crystal Frags, Elemental, till Blockade runs out. back bar. Every second rotation the pet, and then you do again. It's really easy. Once you get the hang of it, like with most rotations, the back bar kinda decides on how long the rotation will be. These two are both 8 seconds long, so we try to have it between 8 to 9 seconds. Front bar, you activate the pet every second rotation and the Edict Prey every 1 rotation, then you just weave these 2 abilities. Again, it's probably easier when you read it, because it sounds complicated, but it's really not. You just need to get the hang of weapon swapping. That's usually what people have most trouble with. One more important tip. Gameplay. You go to quick cast, ground abilities. This needs to be on. Because that way your lightning flood will never bug out. Sometimes when you have that on off, you will actually have to press it twice and it will not go out. And with ground abilities on, this will always go out. So you only need to press it once and there. Because you can animation cancel this really well. Full animation, animation cancel with weapon swap. And it still deals damage. Okay, very important. Same with the curse when we use this. This is the curse, full animation, weapon swap. And then another important thing, always do light attacks. There's so many people that don't do light attacks between each ability. You need to do these light attacks. They deal so much damage. Very, very important. If you want the full target dummy parse, there is a video with explanation on the website as well, showcasing the outfit. And again, if you have questions, you can always come to twitch.tv/alcasthq. I live stream the game a lot, so I'm happy to answer questions. On top of that, there is a community Discord where people always answer people's question, and we also have fashion channels, theory crafting, there's everything there. Skin we have, and please keep in mind, the website I have, it's always more up to date than build videos, because I can easily change something on the website, but not that easily on a published video. Skin I use is Sanctified Silver. If you want to watch a few other videos, they're right here. Other than that, thanks for watching and see you soon. Cheers.